Because it's your first day here and it's your last day here, Shaq, before you go on holiday.
Yeah, that's right.
Exciting. Very good.
I'm very excited.
Do you want to share where you're going or not?
We're to Colombia, Dan.
Going to Colombia.
Cartagena, right?
Cartagena, that's right.
Well, beautiful. How's your Spanish? Ready?
Great.
Yep. Ready to go? Why aren't you going? Why don't you take him with you?
Well, he's invited people around his house, apparently.
I know.
Oh, boy.
You know, it's like
where's this going?
People around the house, they open the door and it's hot.
I've never heard this before in my life.
Oh, man. Nadim's here claiming he was up at 2 a.m. watching Manchester City. Are you still sticking with that story,
Yeah, it's
Nadim?
factual. It did happen.
Yeah,
It did happen.
Yeah,
This footage, it did happen, yeah.
No way,
Yeah.
no way.
Sitting there thinking, oh, big squad.
For Gab, players like Jude Bellingham are complaining about the pitches in the US again. Why can't they get this critical part of the game correct, and how can they correct this in less than a year?
I mean, I am not, it may surprise you, but I am not a groundskeeper, so
Right.
I don't quite know the technical ins and outs of that. My understanding is that I think, from what I've read, at some of these NFL stadiums, you are in a situation where if you want to get the grass to set and to lay properly, you need to allow a certain amount of time beforehand to do that. And
What's the exact amount of time?
it's basically it's 47 days. Stop it! But I think the point is, FIFA say they will get it right for the World Cup.
Okay.
And as far as the pitch complaints, yeah, I know he complains, and let's face it, footballers always complain about pitches.
Right.
Don't.
And it feels like less complaints than the Copa America last year.
Oh, a whole lot less.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Look at me for.
Why are you asking him?
Why are you looking at
Goalkeepers
me?
complaining about pitches.
I just said we'd never complain.
Nadim, what did you make of the pitches when you were playing in MLS?
Well, that's the thing, it's different because the MLS pitches and the MLS stadiums are probably better suited to the games which have happened so far in this competition. But because, you know, they want to be in the big NFL stadiums and lay that turf, before you know it, like in that Real Madrid game, the ball doesn't really bounce. But anyway, you know, that's not up to me to make those decisions. Let someone at FIFA do it.
Okay, who's got the bigger heart here out of this lot? Nadim, I'll go with you. Who was the most sad you have ever been about a teammate leaving your club?
The most sad?
Yeah.
Ooh. So that's a good question. Come back to me on that one.
Okay.
I'll figure it out.
All right.
Come back to me on that.
This is.
Yeah.
This is no. Thanks, Nadim. I went for you first for a reason.
Well, actually, I didn't.
Shaka will go. It happened all the time.
Go, Craig, please. I'd like Craig to take this.
Well, the answer is never.
What a massive shock! Oh my goodness me!
Who could have seen that coming?
Wow!
No, serious. There's a reason for that.
This is a man whose best man from his wedding lives 2 hours up the road, and he's been here for what, 8 years?
I don't know.
How many times have you seen him?
In 8 years.
Yeah.
I've talked to him.
Uh,
You saw him at your wedding, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I see
He
him
filled
again
his
after that.
functions.
You're infatuated by this.
I just find it amazing that your best mate lives so close.
Because he has a busy lifestyle, and so do I.
you really don't.
Jack, I'm snowed under. Right. The reason is, I'm coming in here and just sending me emails about shows and
Oh no.
Club World Cup.
Yes.
Just don't get a minute.
Right.
I left Chelsea,
Yes.
so, you know, I was the one.
People were sad to see you leave.
Well, I was.
Is that how we're turning this, this question?
And then I also left Celtic after my 2.5
Yes,
years.
but while you were there, people left. It wasn't just all about you.
But not anybody you get.
No.
You start welling up about.
Right,
Just-
okay.
It's
No, I'm not saying welling up, but just like, oh, I'm
It's part of it's part of the journey.
Yes.
As a player, players come and go, and it's something that you accept. Jack.
I'm with Craig on this.
Yeah, I knew you would be, but I knew both of you would say that. That's why I went to Nadim. Nadim,
Yeah, I played with him for only a little bit, but I was there when he played his last game for City, and it was Sergio Aguero. Because he's got 260 goals for the club. I saw when he first started, then all of a sudden he's just not playing anymore. And as he's leaving, it's in like a half-empty stadium because of the pandemic, and it's like, it was just all a bit sad, to be honest, because that is one of the sort of icons of City of the last 10 years.
That's nice. A nice answer.
No, I could have said one of his mates.
It's a very sad answer. Nadim took the question seriously and answered it very professionally. But in so doing, made us all really sad. I'm thinking of Aguero at the empty
you wait.
stadium.
You work with Craig, you get sad every day. Nadim, who do you think will have a bigger impact on City this season, Bobb or Echeverri?
Ooh, I think I'm going to say Bobb just because he's a little bit older and a little bit more experienced. But it's interesting because Echeverri was apparently going to be in the process of going on loan again and so on as a young player. But Guardiola's told him that he wants him to stick around for this period of time. So I think he's got one eye on making sure that he's part of the attacking lineup going forward. But I think Oscar Bobb has done it before, and I think he'll do it again.
Nadim mentioned COVID. Of course, we kept doing the show throughout that time, and one big talking point was Xhaka's lack of air conditioning.
Yeah.
Which
We're
is
going to say lack of effort.
that's pre, post. That's all through pandemic. Xhaka, do you have air conditioning now in your house?
I do, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, lovely.
I had air conditioning, yeah, so it was just very loud. So I had to turn
You
it
had to turn it off when you were
Yeah.
on.
He's
Yeah?
moved house, hasn't he?
Yes, he has moved house. Yeah.
For what he's paying, you'd want freaking air conditioning. Is it?
It's all going on the Colombian trip.
Because whenever he paid the money, they had big windows when they saw him come.
Right,
Tell you that now.
right, Gab, I'm going to go with you because no one else will know what's going on, I don't think, with this. Is there any way that you can get Crystal Palace to come to their senses and keep Woody Johnson far away from their team? He's the worst owner in all the professional sports worldwide. Don't believe me, ask any New York Jets fan.
Yeah, so Woody Johnson, a.k.a. Robert Wood Johnson, is the owner of New York Jets, former ambassador to the Court of St. James on behalf of the United States, UK ambassador, between 2017 and 2021. He has bought John
Wikipedia,
Texter's...
calm down.
he has bought John Texter's shares. So what I can reassure you about, John Texter had the worst possible deal, I think, of any owner in history. He owned, I believe it's 45% of the club, but he only had 25% of the say. There's three other owners, Harris, Blitzer, and Steve Parrish. And none of them liked him, and they all ganged up on him all the time. So he had no say despite owning a bigger chunk of the club. So I'm gonna guess that if Woody Johnson bought those shares, the Texter shares, he would have bought them on the Texter terms, which means he'll just be there and he won't have any say.
Okay.
He'll just put in a lot of money and let other people make the decisions.
So don't worry, calm
Does that
down.
reassure you?
There we are.
By the way, he's the heir to the Johnson & Johnson pharmaceutical. That's the Johnson.
Wow, there you go. Lovely. Anything you'd like to add, Shank?
No, just nope.
Gab, start, bench or drop. Del Piero, Totti, Baggio.
Oh.
Boy.
So my views on this have evolved somewhat over the years. I feel like I have to start Totti
Okay.
simply because he's Totti. And I love the fact that he turned down. He's the guy who came up one of those lines which I really resonate with me, which is when it comes to medals, one title at Roma is worth 10 at Real Madrid or Juventus.
All right. Yep.
So I'm going to put Totti first.
How many did he get at Roma, by the way?
He got one.
Okay.
He also won a World Cup.
No, but
you know.
I know, but that's just a saying. Doesn't mean he got one.
Imagine if he never got one. And then I think I would probably bench, this is going to surprise people, I would probably bench Del Piero.
Right.
Simply because there was a work ethic to him, which I always liked, even after his bad injuries meant maybe he wasn't as brilliant as early in his career. But he always put in the effort, always put in the shift. And then, remarkably, I would drop Baggio, who may be the greater player of the three, maybe the most talented player of the three. But the last couple years of his career, it became almost like a sideshow. So I know it's very tough between them. It's like choosing your favorite child, but yeah, that is.
Andy,
So on that subject, who is your favourite child?
he had a ponytail as well. That's a big one.
You could pull it off, though.
What?
No, he didn't. You can't. Nobody can pull up.
It was in his latter years. He had
I'm
this.
not a fan of
He still has the same. He still has it. But who do you think? Who looks better with it? With Baggio or Erling Haaland? Who looks cool?
Nobody looks good in a ponytail.
Baggio.
Nobody.
There you go.
All day. Haaland has to do something with that barnet.
No,
He needs to fix it. I mean, he's got to sort
ponytail.
himself out there. No, you know,
John, I'm serious about one thing in life, and it's ponytails, Dad.
Yeah?
Yes.
well, listen.
just
What do you know about hair? Remember you tried to grow a beard? What a shambles. What a shambles that was.
Barely beard. I thought.
Nadem, as the show's promotion relegation expert, with all 3 promoted teams going straight back down in each of the last 2 seasons, is the gap in money and talent between the Premier League and the Championship becoming too big to overcome?
Do you know what? I'm going to have to eat that because that's technically who I am. I'll talk about City and I'll talk about relegations. That's
Right.
basically it.
Yeah. Oh, look. What a useless graphic. What's the point?
Yeah, I think the gap is becoming quite big, but I've got a bit of hope in Leeds staying up this year.
Okay.
And I think maybe that'll come at the expense of maybe like a Brentford because they've lost such a good manager, and perhaps they won't be able to sort of cruise their way to 40 points like we've seen in the last couple of seasons. But it's not looking good at the moment, and I'll be honest, I don't really fancy Sunderland as it stands to get too many points. Let's just say that.
Final
I
question.
think that somebody might have spent a lot of time in that. It's back!
There it is. I know.
Somebody
We know.
Well, somebody spent a lot of time putting that together.
Oh,
And
sorry,
I
Craig.
don't think it's right that you are, you know, denigrating the hard work
No, that's
of the
very true,
people
and I
behind the
apologise
scenes.
for that.
As
And
bad as that graphic was, useless. I mean, I don't know.
Final question,
Just
Craig.
because you're having time off and you got your own parking space.
I do have-
Really annoyed me when I came in today.
Oh, did you drive past it?
Yeah, but I drove past it, and as I drove past, I was like swearing.
Yes.
Then luckily there was a space,
Oh, I can't wait for it not to be a space.
so I got in. You were
Craig, when asked what changes Steve would make as the replacement host for Dan, aside from having refreshments on the set, he would say he would allow drinks to be on the desk.
Greg, when I
So basically,
Stevie.
yeah. So I said basically, if I get the call during the show, Stevie is on standby to come in and host.
That's not happening.
No, I know, but
Well, it can't happen.
well, but it would be quite funny.
Actually, I would pay money for that.
It would be very.
Exactly, that'd be
Just to
great.
sit
He
here.
was asked 3 changes that he could make, and one was that you could have drinks on the desk. I'm not sure alcoholic or
Soft
non-alcoholic.
drinks?
Yeah, exactly. That's where we go.
Yeah.
And then everything else was really just about winding you up. A lot more goals, a lot more guests, basically just everything to poke at you until you would just walk out.
Well, he likes lots of goals because he doesn't have to think then, does he?
He sent me a picture, by the way, today of him walking the dog in his slippers. He forgot again to put his shoes on.
Well, the worry for you is that you know, I know you've got, you know, you've got some health things you need to sort out. But there's no sentiment in this game if things go really well when you're away.
But if... Where are we going with this? That Stevie's going to take over?
No, someday.
He just wants your pockets, but
I know. Well, if Dan gets sacked...
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
I'm
you'll get a
taking that
host
pocket
in
spot.
who's appreciative of graphics.
Yes.
Exactly, that's very true.
Even graphics that are wrong.
Thank you. Well, standard. That is it. That brings us to the end of